And we are back. Welcome to a brand new series on the channel, and one that I have very much been looking forward to. This is going to be the start of my daily Under-21 European Championship predictions. I love watching the European Under-21s every single year it comes around. A great opportunity to look at the potential stars of the future. And trust me, when we get to some of today's predictions, I think you'll be a little bit surprised by how many already established names are in these squads, and obviously this is a great opportunity for some new players to bring themselves towards the spotlight. Before we get into it, as always, if you are looking forward to this series, if you're looking forward to this tournament as well, please make sure you drop a like on this video and make sure you are subscribed to the channel as well, because as I said, every single day that there is matches in this tournament, I will be uploading my predictions. So make sure you are subscribed and ringing that bell so you don't miss out on any of those predictions. And let's get in to the first day's action. And we kick off with 3 games kicking off at 5 o'clock this evening. And we'll start off with the host nation, or one of the 2 host nations in Georgia. They are taking on Portugal. Now, when I initially looked at the squads, I thought Portugal were going to end up being a little bit stronger than what they were. But it seems a lot of Portugal's recognised youngsters are already in their full first team. The likes of Vitinha, who's played a lot of under-21s action in the qualifying for this tournament. He's been one of their star players. He is now in the full first team, so it looks like he is definitely not going to be available for this. They do have some players that we do recognise. Fabio Silva, Wolves' big money signing from a couple of years ago. He looks like he will be in the attacking line for Portugal, as well as Nuno Tavares of Arsenal in defence. Other than that, though, there's a fair few players that have been trying to make a name for themselves in the Portuguese side. When I looked at the Georgian side, unfortunately, the likes of Kvaratskhelia, who would obviously qualify for this team, he is already Georgia's main man for the national team, so he can't be in this squad. So, unfortunately for small nations like Georgia, it's very hard for them to prioritise a tournament like this over just normal internationals. So their squad's not the strongest. Portugal have got some fairly decent players. So for the opening game of this tournament, I am going to go for 2-0 to Portugal. So sadly, for one of the host nations, I think it's going to be a poor start for them. While that game's going on, the other game in Group A is an absolute phenomenal one. It is Belgium against the Netherlands. And when I looked at the 2 squad lists, I could not believe the amount of high-level names already in this squad. You're talking the likes of Gravenberch playing for the Netherlands, someone who's played for Bayern Munich in Champions League games and has played games for the full national team. Obviously, we know his exploits from when he was at Ajax. He's in the Netherlands team. You got the likes of Mickey van der Ven, who is, according to the reports I've seen, very close to signing for Liverpool in the next few days. And when you then go over to the Belgium team, you've got the likes of Loic Openda, one of the top scorers in Liga in this season, looks set to sign for RB Leipzig. As things currently stand, you've got Charles de Ketelaar, was one of the top scorers in the Belgian league a couple of years ago and has recently signed for AC Milan in the last 12 months. There are some very, very high-profile names in these 2 teams already. So if you've not seen the squad lists, I thoroughly recommend you check these 2 teams out, because I think once you realise who's in these teams, we could be in for an absolutely cracking game today. And I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw because, like I say, I've looked at these 2 sides and I think both teams have very good things going forward. I forgot to mention for the Netherlands, Broby, the Ajax striker. He looks like he'll be leading the line for them. But defensively, it might not be as good. Obviously, I've mentioned Van der Ven, but I just think the likes of Openda and de Ketelaar really are a very strong front line. I think you're going to see a better front line than that Belgian front two in this tournament. So I think it's going to be a very good game. I think all 3 results are possible in this one, and I'm just going to go for a 2-2 draw. Whilst those 2 games are going on in Group A, we have our first game in Group B, and that is between Ukraine and Croatia. And kind of like what I said with Georgia, I don't want to sit here and disrespect Croatia again, but the majority of good Croatian youngsters are already in the full national team, and obviously they've been playing their Nations League, so they weren't going to take the risk of leaving some of their good youngsters out of that squad to prioritise this tournament when they might have needed them for the Nations League games. And obviously they got to the final and sadly for them lost on penalties. So that does make Croatia's squad a little bit weaker. Ukraine don't really have any names that I recognise. I'm sure there are some talented players in there, but again, the likes of Mykhailo Mudryk, who could qualify for this tournament, he is obviously with the full national team. I just don't think Ukraine will have enough in this one from what I've seen of the form of these two sides. I think Croatia will just about edge it, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 win for them in their opening fixture. And then the final fixture of the day, the 7:45 kickoff, is the other host nation, Romania, and they are going to be taking on Spain. And again, unfortunately, when you look at the two squads, Romania don't really have anything to offer. And then you look at the Spanish squad, you see the likes of Abel Ruiz, who is a phenomenal young striker, scores a lot of goals for Braga in the Portuguese league. You look at the likes of Sergi Gomez, who has had mixed performances, it has to be said, for Manchester City this season. But at the end of the day, he's ending the season as a treble winner. And then the name that are on a lot of people's lists at the moment, you have Gabri Veiga in the midfield for Spain. He will be looking to be probably the star player of this tournament, and I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of him because obviously he's been linked with the likes of Liverpool, Newcastle, Barcelona, Chelsea. A lot of big clubs are looking to sign the Celta Vigo youngster, and I think, like I said, he'll be looking to be the star player of this tournament, and I'm very interested to see him play properly. I'm going to go for 3-0 to Spain. I don't think anyone's going to be too surprised about that, but like I say, I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of these young players on show, potentially seeing some of the stars of the future. As always, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Are you excited for this tournament? Let me know your thoughts on the games that we have coming up. Thank you very much for watching. I will be back tomorrow morning when we'll start talking about the young Lions' chances of potentially winning this tournament. I'll see you then.